So my name is Pedro Merino. I'm the technical manager of 6G-SANDBOX, coming from University of Malaga. I will try to give a short view of the project, and then we can distribute more material. The first view, this is a consortium, 18 partners. We are representing projects like Genesis or Vini, and we are also representing projects coming from the fire community based on experimentations like Triangle, Fed for Fire, or 5G in Fire. We have operators like Telefónica and Cosmote, big vendors like Keysight Technologies in the area of testing and monitoring equipment. We have providers of technologies like ICE Wireless or the Cube University of Belfast. We have providers of use cases. In particular, we have Nokia and Ovo because they will work in the combination of technologies to produce extended reality plus haptic communications. And we have expertise also in standardization, for instance, with Lenovo, virtualization technologies, OpenNebula, one of the European providers for virtualization technologies. With this consortium, we are using more than 8 million euros. 20% will go to open calls, and I will discuss a bit about the open calls at the end of the presentation. Which is the main idea in 6G-SANDBOX? Our intention is to provide what we call the trial networks. This is the focus. A trial network is a testbed for an experimenter with intention to be fully configurable, fully manageable, to be used for a medium or long-term experimentation, as if the trial network was the infrastructure to run a real full project. So a trial network could be provided for a single experiment or for a long-term experimentation campaigns running a number of experiments. These trial networks should be supported by an end-to-end infrastructure that is composed by a number of platforms around Europe. These infrastructures can be expanded with external components coming from the experimenters that will use the trial network, so we can combine their resources with our resources. The idea is to create the trial networks to be in parallel in the same infrastructure running a number of trial networks beyond the concept of slicing 5G-PPP or in 3G-PPP. And so we need to work in sharing this infrastructure in a secure way, using also some support for artificial intelligence. We plan to have digital twinning to replace some components with the twins of the components for some experiments. We need to work a lot of multi-tenancy and specifically in managing resources. We plan to have the full work in the project open, reusable, public, and so on. So we will produce a number of open libraries with the 6G components of the software developed in the project to be used by others. We plan to have a big open repository of KPIs and KPIs analyzed during the project. We plan to have a number of templates to create these trial networks, avoiding creating from scratch. So the intention is to work in this approach, infrastructure as a code, but also with templates. We plan to provide the CI/CD approach to keep the trial networks updated. And the two key players here will be the experimenters and the component contributors. Both those requesting trial networks executing on top of trial networks and then running experiments, plus the component contributors will be coming from the open calls. But as I will say later, not only from the open calls, we plan also to invite more people outside the open calls to run with the project and to run with the concepts that we are developing in the project. With this approach in mind, the objectives in 6G-SANDBOX 1 and 2 is to define an architecture to support this big ambition, process methodologies to create the networks and to use the networks, to deploy the actual 6G technologies in a number of platforms in Europe to support the components, to work in the idea of infrastructure as a code with the ambition of have this virtualized multi-domain environment to have real multi-tenancy and to work in an automatic way to create these testbeds. And then we need to work in experimentation to produce values for KPIs and KPIs, maybe also to define some new KPIs and KPIs to be reported to the Stream B projects, and to create ecosystem. So we need to support Stream D, but we will also provide feedback to the Stream B, and we will reuse components from Stream B. So this project should be a key player in this SNS giant undertaking. And of course, as the project officer said at the beginning, we need to work a lot on standardization, trying to contribute to standardization from this Stream C at the beginning, and also communication and dissemination. If we take this whole approach as a reference, we have a number of ambitions in the project. First one is to work in experimentation monitoring technologies. Here, Keysight portfolio of tools is a good starting point, and also the work done in the TMB and in Phagenesis, Vini, and so on. But we plan to work more in this area. We want to provide towards 6G technologies in the wireless domain, in particular, exposing RIC with APIs to create XApps or RIS components, reconfigurable intelligent surfaces. We plan to combine fixed RAN 6G with a satellite for backhauling, for multi-connectivity, but also, if we can do in the project, for digital, for orbital edge. We plan to work in deterministic networking more than TSN. We want to go also with P4 programming language to support deterministic communication, working ATSS for prioritization end-to-end. Interaction with core, mainly on APIs, CAPIF, NEF, but new ways to make integration with the core network. Artificial intelligence and machine learning as services to be offered also in the trial networks, and also to support to create these trial networks. Security, mainly to share the infrastructure with a number of experimenters at the same time, allowing the experimenters to configure in deep, to configure lower layers in the devices that we are exposing to them. Edge clone continuum, because we need to make use of resources along a number of platforms across Europe, and we need this concept to be developed more in the project. Digital twins, because we plan to replace in a number of experiments the actual components with the digital twin of the components, and we plan to create these digital twins on the fly based on the actual behavior of the real components in the network. And here again, platforms like Xdata from Keysight will be a relevant component. And we plan also to contribute in the area of XR and haptics communication combined in this big area of Internet of Things. These ambitions will be mapped in the initial deployments in 4 platforms that we have in the project, coming from ICT 17 mainly, but also from national efforts. So we have the Malaga platform, mainly coming from Phagenesis, Triangle, and other projects that will be expanded to new areas in the city and also in the province of Malaga to cover areas like connected car, agro, to provide use cases for Stream D in this domain, the Malaga Airport, Merino City, Malaga City, and the intention here is also to connect with satellite to have these capabilities for hauling, multi-connectivity, and so on. Berlin is mainly based on Vini and Phagenesis architecture, where they are deploying also new components for terahertz and for more radio communications, new way of communications. Athens platform is coming also from mainly Phagenesis, combining resources from Cosmote and Democritus, and to be expanding also to new areas and to be connected with satellite. 5GTN coming from the National Finland Initiative that is here supported by Oulu University. The intention is to connect all of them, mainly to share resources. We need to talk later about the approaches to federation, interconnection, and so on. This is in the ambition of the project, but the initial intention is to share resources. On top of these platforms, the initial use case is Internet of Things, mainly in the area of public events like theaters, cinema, museums, and so on, where we plan to combine technologies to have more immersive experiences combining extended reality, haptic communications, and other coming, for instance, from the open course providing technologies. And
1 minute,
the
Pedro,
intention
please.
is to have. Okay, I'm finished. I include here in this last slide short answers to questions.
We can discuss.
Yeah.
This we can discuss later on. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So.
And the slide will be shared. So yeah. Okay.
So
this is a set of questions that we can discuss during the Q&A session. So.